So as I said, I'm Elise Tager. I'm a business coach for ambitious female entrepreneurs. And I want to thank you for coming today. I love, actually, you know what? Let me hide my video so that we aren't distracted. Okay, good. I don't want you distracted. So there we go. You know, I love doing these webinars and master classes, and I always feel like I'm giving a party when I do these. And I want to thank you for coming to my party, because being able to help people, help women with this information is like candy to me. And I'm hoping there's a lot of information that will be valuable to you that you can put to use in your business, whether you, no matter where you are in your trajectory with your business. So thanks for coming. I've got everybody on mute, as I said. If you've got questions or comments, put them in the chat and I'll get back to you as soon as I can with an answer. So let's get going. So today we're going to talk about the 5 crucial steps to shift from solopreneur to CEO and experience amazing growth in 6 weeks without breaking the bank or becoming completely overwhelmed. So who is this for? If you are a solopreneur and you want to grow your business, but you don't know how to get off the hamster wheel of doing, this is for you. If you're not happy as a solopreneur, some women are happy, but not everybody. And so if you are not happy as a solopreneur, you're in the right place. And just think about this for a minute. Does this sound like you? You're afraid to spend money for additional help because cash is always tight. You are holding your breath at the end of the month because you're not quite sure if you're going to have the cash flow you need to get to the next month. That could be you. You're exhausted by a never-ending to-do list and wearing too many hats. Many solopreneurs are suffering from that. You desire a business that fits your life, not a life that has to wrap around your business. That's not fun. And you've struggled with never being able to take a vacation. This is one of the premier complaints I hear from so many women entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, sorry. And another one that's just very scary is you've said no to opportunities because you couldn't handle the additional business. That is scary. If you can't handle more business, if you can't grow, you are by definition stuck. Are you in a situation where the passion has gone, right? You get up in the morning and you think, what did I ever start this? You started with a passion, that passion is gone. So if that's how you're feeling, this is the right place. You're in the right place. And if you are ready to grow your business, you may have a full desire to do that, but you don't know how to get there. So in the next 45 or 50 minutes, here's what we're going to do with our time together. So grab your pen or take notes. I'm going to walk through the solo to CEO process, the 5-step process. We have less than an hour, so I'm going to go fast through most of these steps, but I want to focus on really dig into the first step because I think it's critical, and it's one of the things that you can, if you do nothing else after this masterclass, you can take away and start applying to your business and really see some change. So for those of you who would like to work directly with me to plan to move out of the trap of solopreneurship, I'm going to talk about a brand new program I'm starting at the end of our call. So just know that that's coming. So we're going to talk about how to identify your obstacles and get out of your own way to make growth happen. We're going to talk about how to avoid feeling a loss of control as you think about building a team, even if you've had the hiring mistakes in the past. We're going to talk about how you are leaving money on the table as long as you stay a solopreneur. Remember, I talked in the last slide about the fact that if you're so busy and so tied to your desk that you can't take on more business, more projects, more opportunities, you are by definition not able to grow. You are stuck. This is not where you want to be. And so again, by definition, you're leaving money on the table where you could be earning more. We're also going to talk about understanding what it actually means to work on your business, not in it, like a true CEO. I think that's a phrase that's used a lot, but I want to talk some more about what that actually means. So this is my promise to you. You know, every solopreneur is different, and each has strengths and weaknesses and different levels of commitment to their success. And how you apply the information I'm going to share with you today is going to be different for all of you. But from working with literally hundreds of solopreneurs and small business owners in the last 10 years, I know that these strategies I'm going to give you today will allow you to generate much more revenue and create a balanced business and life so that you can grow even further. So I've had 4 businesses and I've had a lot of success, but I also know what it means to struggle, and I would love to save you the pain. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So I know exactly what works and the mistakes you need to avoid right from the get-go. So why is this important now? See this little guy who's lost in the weeds? Every day you spend as a solopreneur is hampering your ability to grow your business, and time equals money. So the longer you are stuck in those weeds, in the doing, and handling that never-ending to-do list, the more you are stuck and you're losing revenue. So that hamster wheel of being super busy every day with no end in sight is so exhausting. It kills your passion. It kills your passion for your business. It kills your passion for life. I have been there. I know how that feels. So think about this. How much revenue are you losing weekly because you're lost in the weeds of doing, not creating, and not stretching further? So in those weeds, are you disorganized or scattered? Are you not making any headway, just treading water? This is usually what it feels like, is that you are just treading water, trying to keep up with that to-do list. You've got lots of ideas and goals, but you can't seem to move them forward with any consistency because you are just stuck in the day-to-day. So think about it. If you could only do what you do best, maybe that's focusing on new business development and finding new high-paying clients and leaving the details to others, think of the growth that you could create. Think of how much calmer and more productive your life and business would be. So these are some of the things that you really want to consider while you're stuck in the weeds. So just one little thing, I love giving away free gifts, and if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you a chance to get even more support for your business for free. And if you're interested in that, make sure you stay until the end of this presentation, and I'll be sure to tell you more about how that's going to work. So don't go anywhere. The real problem as you are stuck in the weeds and suffering from your solopreneur crisis is that you need a process, right? If you knew how to get out of this, you would have done it by now. You need steps to follow so you have the assurance that if you do A, then B, then C, then D, you will then get out of this hamster wheel trap. And that's where I've got you. And I'm happy to be able to do that for you. Once you take these steps, you'll have absolute confidence. You'll stay in complete control and have the ability to increase your revenue. So think about this. No more working day and night. No more feast or famine in your revenue. No more lack of work-life balance. Think of not having to deal with all that. That's very compelling. So before we go any further, let me just give you a little bit of an introduction to me and why I'm conducting this masterclass, and why I'm very expert at this area of moving from solopreneur to CEO. In general overview, I am a business coach for ambitious female entrepreneurs. I help women get to the next stage of their business, no matter where they are. I help them to understand the steps to get to the next stage of their business. I've been running successful businesses for over 20 years. I had a media buying agency for over 11 years, which focused on lead generation, later social media strategies. I've been a speaker and a trainer and an educator on online marketing for all that time. I was the West Coast Regional Director for Constant Contact. I've had speaking engagements all over California and Hawaii and Nevada. talking to and interacting with hundreds and hundreds of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. So I've heard their pain points and I've heard their frustrations. So aside from living through it myself, I've gotten an earful and learned a lot from that. So I've had 10 years of helping women, as I said. I've had 4 businesses. Call me an addict, but that's what I do. I'm passionate about helping other women find their path. That's probably the most important thing to me. So this is my why, and this is my wonderful family. And I know everybody says that this is their why. This is why they get up in the morning. The reason I put this in front of you, and I want you to think about this, is if you are a solopreneur, your business is undoubtedly affecting those around you. If you're stressed, if you're not happy, if you have a lack of self-confidence, it hurts everyone. So let's design a business that will work around your life, not a life that has to wrap around your business. These are the people that will suffer if you aren't really the true leader of your business and the true CEO of your business. So let me describe how I got here to this point where I'm giving you these 5 steps. So as I said before, I've had four businesses. I've been an entrepreneur and had 4 businesses. My lowest point was I was running a media buying agency for 11 years. Media buying was buying banner ads and direct response radio and anything you can think of, mailing lists and anything that revolved around direct response. I was buying for my clients. That's called a media buyer. So I had that agency for 11 years. The first year and a half, I was a solopreneur and doing really, really well. I loved what I was doing and my clients loved me. Business started booming as referrals came in. This is what happens, right? You start doing a good job. I was working with high-tech companies. So once you get into a company, frequently you get referred around the business and people start calling you from within the organization. And that's what started to happen, is that even without putting any effort into it, I had people knocking on my door to say, could you help us as well? Which sounds like a great thing. However, it's good news and bad news. So in that, I was working myself absolutely to death. I had long days and at least part of each weekend where I was bent over my desk. At the time, I had 2 small kids who were not getting enough of my attention. And when I was home, I was absolutely exhausted. So I couldn't really keep up with the business I had. So, even though I say business was booming, it was booming at my own expense. And the busier I got, the less quality of service the clients I already had were getting from me. Even those favorite clients were getting less and less stellar work as I was getting more and more exhausted and burnt out. So on the one hand, this is a good thing. I'm busy, I'm earning lots of money. On the other hand, the expense was huge. So the biggest thing I realized though, at the end of that, as I was getting to the tail end of that 18 months was I realized that I had absolutely no time to look for new clients. So I was so busy taking care of the clients that I currently had. I had no ability or time to look for new clients as well. I was totally dependent on the ones I had, which mark my words, is a very dangerous position to be in. Listen, Miss Solopreneur, if you're not growing, you are dying. You're at the risk of losing your business because you have to maintain a flow of new clients because you never know when you're going to lose some or all of them. So you do not ever want to be in this position. So this is the definition of a business destined to fail. If you don't have a process for seeking and finding new clients on a regular basis, you are very vulnerable. And at the whim of your current client base, that's very dangerous. So as you are up to your ears in being a solopreneur and a one-man band, you are putting yourself at great risk, really. So I was at a turning point. I was totally fried. I knew I couldn't continue this way. I knew it, because I just was burning my candle at both ends. So I had 3 choices. I could continue to struggle, which really wasn't a choice because I was just so burnt out. I could give up, give the business up, or sell it, and or fold it and find a job, not the end of the world. I could do that. But I didn't want to, because I put so much time and energy into this, and I just didn't want to give it up. So I could try to figure out how to make this work for me and how to win. So I needed a roadmap. As I said earlier, if I knew what to do, I would be doing it. I made a decision, though, at that point, when I knew I was at my lowest point, I made a decision to change my mindset from loving being the worker bee, because that was my problem. I loved what I was doing. I loved serving those clients. I loved doing the media buys myself. I loved doing the analytics. All of the stuff around the business, I actually loved doing. But that was to my disadvantage. So I realized at that point, I had to stop being the worker bee and become the CEO of my soon-to-be booming business, which is a major mindset shift. And I just had to make that decision, or else I was going to go down. But as I said earlier, I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do that. If I knew how to do that, I would have done it, or I would have started the process. So I could see the problem, but I didn't know how to solve it. And I couldn't just throw money at it, because, again, I just didn't know where to start throwing money. I just didn't know how to proceed. I didn't have a process. So I hired a business coach, and I did some research, and I found a business coach, a woman who had been in a very similar set of circumstances. She had run and grown agencies, plural, so she understood the agency model. And she was now acting as a business coach for other agencies. And I thought, oh God, this is exactly what I need. So I hired her. And let me tell you, this was a huge leap of faith, because she was extremely expensive. And I just had to hold my nose and jump into the deep end of the pool with a huge leap of faith. I knew I couldn't do this myself. I knew I needed help. And I knew I had to make this investment if I was going to turn this around. And that's what I decided I wanted to do. This was a great investment in myself. And it took me a while to figure that out. So with her help, I took a look at my strengths and weaknesses and decided I had to devote my energy to building the business, not doing the business. I had to become the new biz dev queen and find a way to let others serve my clients. Again, this is a major mindset shift. I was great with people. I was horrible at detail. And in that respect, I was also doing myself and my clients a huge disservice. I was great at sales when I bothered to sell anything, or when I can get into that sales mode, which was almost never. I was horrible at organizing my business. I was horrible at bookkeeping. Any of the back end stuff I was terrible at. I was doing myself a huge disservice by keeping myself stuck in the weeds. Who was I kidding, right? I was doing the jobs that I was the least suited to do. And as the head of a business, I shouldn't be doing. So I had to start serving in my zone of genius and not react to the fire drills that were happening to me every day, which is what happens when you're in a one-woman band. I had to find a system that will allow me to jump off that horrible, horrible hamster wheel. So I started to, again, with this business coach giving me a process and giving me the steps, I started to carefully and cautiously invest in a team and spend some money on building a prospecting system. Slowly, but not so slowly, it was just step by step. I had to take the steps I needed to get myself out of this situation. I had hands to hold. She had given me guidelines. I could actually see myself moving forward once I decided to make this investment. And this was a major mindset shift again. So the results were my business grew each year for 9 more years. I built a carefully selected team of rock stars. I started to consistently bring in more business every month, consistently. I could sleep at night and even take vacations. And when I sold the business, we were doing millions in revenue every year, all due to the steps I'm going to lay out for you today. So I bring this up because this is possible for you. I'm not special, right? This is possible for you too, no matter what niche you're in, no matter where you are in your business. If you're a solopreneur and you are at that same low point that I was, you can follow these steps and you can get out of that. So a couple of caveats though, some keys to my success. Be open to change, right? What got you here is not going to get you there. Be open to change. Be willing to do the work. There are no magic bullets. Take action every single day. Even when you get up in the morning and what you really want to do is put your head under the covers, take action every single day. This is key. Start the change before you feel ready. When you're still feel like you're drowning, when you still feel like you're never going to lift your head from your desk, this is when you want to start this process. You want to be building your business for the future, not just getting out of this quagmire that you're in today. So let's talk about these 5 steps, shall we? So the 5 steps are mindset shifts that have to happen if you're going to get out of this hole. Step 2, who's in charge? You are the calendar. You need to take charge. Step number 3, you want to start thinking like a CEO, not a worker bee. Step number 4, you have to let go of the need to do it all, which most solopreneurs have a problem with. Step number 5, you have to plan for the future of a thriving business. So let me start with the first one, which is mindset. I start here because I start with mindset with any clients I'm working with, whether they're one-to-one clients or in my group coaching program, in my masterminds, in a course like this. This is the key to everything. This is bedrock. So mindset. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. I just love that quote. So you need to decide that you are going to be all in. And you need to decide that you're going to be successful. Remember, I was at that, I could turn one of 3 ways. And what I decided to do was to make this business work. I made a decision that I was going to be successful. There will be problems and challenges, sometimes huge. You need to think of them as hurdles, not walls, hurdles that you're going to get over. So I'm going to talk about mindset issues in a little bit more depth, walk through the other 5 steps quickly. But again, mindset's so important. I want to spend more time here. This is the core of success in business and in life and in everything. So when your mindset is in the right place, you give yourself permission and the ability to achieve your goals. As I said, problems are barriers to be scaled, not walls that are going to stop you. So in all that time, those many years that I've been working with solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, and I said there are several decades of it, this is what I hear from the women that I've worked with. And think about whether this resonates with you. What's keeping you stuck from making the changes you will need to break out of that hamster wheel? This is what I hear. From all the solopreneurs I've worked with over the years, this is what I hear. Does this resonate with you? Are you afraid of hiring, delegating, or letting go of control, trusting someone else? They are afraid of hiring. I also hear, what do I do if I'm not doing all the things? What do I do when I get to my desk and I'm not doing all that stuff? What is my role? I don't have the money. I do not have the money to hire. I will tell you, usually that's not the case. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later, but usually there's something deeper. When someone's afraid about not having the money, there are other issues underneath that, other than the money, that are keeping them from moving forward. And I'll address that in a second. They don't have time to train, they tell me. Well, here's the quintessential thing that keeps them from moving. I am too busy to think about it. I'm dying here. So if you come from fear, your business will never grow, and you'll be too afraid to allow it to grow. If you come from a place of scarcity, these are all mindset issues. If you come from a place of scarcity, you won't be searching for solutions. If you come from a lack of confidence, you will never allow yourself to succeed. So pay attention. This is all between your ears, right? This is all you getting in your own way. This is all mindset stuff that needs to be acknowledged, addressed, teased apart and dealt with. And if we're working together, this is the place we're going to start, and we are going to change all of that. So when you are acting from a solid mindset, and rest assured you can get there, you'll be acting from a position of confidence, freedom, creativity, and clarity. You will get out of your own way. Now, let me just say, if this sounds frou-frou to you, you cannot hop over this step, because the vast majority of women entrepreneurs that I've worked with are stuck because of their own mindset issues. You can't hop over this step. You need to be examining your own issues so we can deal with them and work on them together and get you beyond those so you're no longer stuck. So let me give you an example. I don't know if you know the phrase imposter syndrome. I just love this. Imposter syndrome, which is a definition, is when you feel like a fraud, right? You feel like an imposter. Who am I to be doing, fill in the blank? I have no right to be doing this. I don't have enough degrees. I don't have enough certification. I don't have enough whatever. Imposter syndrome comes up for everyone, anyone, anytime you reach beyond your comfort zone. So let me give you a specific example of one of my students in the course, and how she was able to acknowledge this and get beyond it. So this is one of my students, Kate, who signed up for the Solo to CEO course. She'd run a very successful copywriting business for decades as a solopreneur, at least 20 years. I had used Kate for quite a number of years. And now she was done with it. Now she wanted to move into becoming a writing coach. So no more solopreneur, thank you very much. I want to be a coach and start working with many women at the same time. And she just couldn't get beyond it. She just couldn't get going. She couldn't get her motor revved. And in that first week where we started talking about mindset, one of the things that came up for her was, who am I to be the expert? And her phrase was, who am I to be the sage, right? Why am I setting myself up, putting myself out there as being the sage, the all-knowing, the expert? Mind you, this is a woman who had done writing and copywriting and editing for 20 years and was fabulous at it. But in her own mind, she felt like a fraud. Who am I to be coaching other people to do this? So as a result of the course, the very first module we worked on that together. And once she was able to identify and overcome that fear, in that very second week that we started working together, she was able to find several contractors to help her with the admin aspects of her coaching business so she could move forward, developing her packages, seeking out new clients, being in new biz dev mode. And within the first 2 months of starting, she had, multiple high-end clients, but she had to go through this mindset issue first. Critical that you start here. So, second step of the 5 steps. Who's in charge, you or the calendar? So again, I'm going to talk about these next 4 steps in this process quickly, otherwise we'll be here all day. This not being in charge of your calendar, not being in charge of your time, is the very definition of that horrible hamster wheel that you're reaching, where you are responding to fire alarms constantly. Every solopreneur I talk to is time starved. You need to master your time, not let it take control of you so that you can be in charge and build your business. You need to manage your calendar and your time. You can't let it manage you. So, the bad news, though, is that the longer you stay in this trap, right, of letting your calendar, of being at the effect of your calendar, of other people's agendas, the less likely it is that you will ever crawl out. I guarantee you will burn out and lose the passion you had for your business. So here's what happens. You get addicted and or used to that busy. And if you're not busy, and operating flat out all the time, you feel like you're not doing enough. You feel like there's something wrong. You feel like you're not really working. And I guarantee that will burn you out faster than anything else will. So unless you start controlling your time, it will control you, and you will never accomplish your goals. If you say you want to grow, you cannot until you master your time. You're at the effect of everyone else's agenda. I know. This feels impossible. I can just hear the screams now. I've got kids. I've got, I'm doing this as a side hustle. I have a full-time job. You know, issues that are making me not be able to control my time. Again, you can do this. This is a process that I will walk you through. I will give you tools and tips and resources and a process to walk through so that you can start taking charge of your calendar no matter what fire alarms are going off in your life. The trick to making this work is honoring the way you want to run your business. Remember, you're in charge. You are in charge of your business. Your clients are in charge. Do you have to do drop off and pick up for the kids? If you only want to work 4 days a week, are you a morning person or an afternoon person? You want to design your business and your calendar around what's going to work for you. So you want to create a plan. I can just hear you screaming now, right? I can hear you screaming now. There is no way I can do this. I've got clients demanding my attention. I've got too much on my to-do list. I've got a kid homesick today. There's no way I can do this. Yes, there is. I have solutions and tips, and I have solutions for this. So you can create a plan for controlling your clients. You can create a plan for how to deal with emergencies, and they do crop up no matter what. Life happens, right? We can work with those in such a way that you have the bandwidth for it within a schedule, within a structured calendar. You want to be building, not reacting. This sounds like the impossible, but let me tell you, every student who's been through this course with me says, oh my God, I had no idea I could do this. Also, it takes discipline at first, right? You will become more productive, less stressed, and more excited about your business. If you're honoring your own desires and seeing the results you'll get, it will become second nature. So you're going to have to be sort of girding your loins and gritting your teeth in the beginning as you get used to the structure that you will create. But believe me, this is what is going to create success for you and your business. So again, another example of a student of mine. Kathleen was a consultant in the e-commerce community. She had been for, gosh, I want to say 30 years. She had left, she thought she had retired. She decided she wanted to come back. She wanted to come back and start to rebuild a business that she had walked away from. She felt like she had lost her groove. And she also knew that she didn't want to come back in the way that she had left it. So she had been working 60-hour weeks, loved it, but she didn't want to be doing that anymore, right? She was older. She had a life to lead. She had an older husband that she wanted to be spending a lot of time with. She had a lot of volunteer work. She needed to create a business that was going to work around the new life that she wanted to lead. And pay attention. I don't know you individually, but each of you are at different seasons of your life, right? So you might have young kids, you might not have young kids, you might have other things that you want to be doing with your life. You might be wanting to work 60 hours a week, and that just makes you happy. You have to decide where you are in your business and how you want your business to wrap around your life. So what Kathleen and I did in the very beginning, one of her complaints was, I just feel like I'm working all the time. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm sitting in front of my computer. I'm busy, and not getting anything accomplished. So we took a look at her calendar and we mapped out a 3-day work week where we said, you know, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 9 to noon, you will be doing at your desk work, period. And that would be whatever that is, prospecting, sending out proposals, whatever she felt that she needed to do to make the business happen. In those afternoons, she would be in outreach mode. She'd be networking, she'd be talking to potential clients, she'd be having meetings. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, she was not working. And she was not feeling guilty because she was working the amount of time that she wanted to be working. So there's more to it than that, but you can do this. You can design your life around what you're doing. So the third step is thinking like a CEO. Many solopreneurs, wait, I got a little lost there. Here's what I hear. Again, back to the here's what I hear from all those solopreneur and entrepreneurs I worked with over the decades. Here's what I hear when we start talking about acting like a true CEO in your business. Elise, if I'm not doing the work, what am I doing? This was also one of the issues that came up for me when I hired that business coach. I was so used to doing the work myself that it was filling 60 hours a week for me. And if she was starting to help me get away from that, how was going to fill the void? You know, why did I get up in the morning? What was my role? So because this comes up, it's another issue, a mindset issue that can stop women from progressing. So what the CEO is doing is creating the vision and direction for the business, finding and bringing in new clients and projects. You are in charge of the growth of your business. So, oops, sorry. Let me go back. You want to be moving in the direction of getting yourself out of the day-to-day. And here's again what I hear. Who has the time for that, right? I don't have anybody to delegate to, and who has the time to move this stuff out to other people? Ultimately, it's your job not to do the work in your business, but out of it, to move out of the day-to-day stuff. This is a process that doesn't happen overnight because you have to set yourself up to be able to move stuff, more administrative work to other people so that you can start functioning like the visionary and the leader. This does not happen overnight, but we will walk through the process together so we can start you acting like the CEO in small ways so that you are preparing yourself and your business to be able to move more and more in that direction. So again, let me tell you another client, another student, sorry. And then once again, I've gotten lost, sorry. Another student, Amanda, this is a perfect story. Amanda was, she ran a service-based business. So she did SEO and she did website development for her clients. She was beyond buried in work and she couldn't see herself getting out of this hole she had dug for herself despite years being in business. So she had two major areas that were a problem for her. One is that she was afraid of hiring, of delegating, letting go of control, trusting someone else to do the work. So here's what we're hearing here: control, perfectionism, and fear. She just couldn't see handing any of this work off to someone else. Secondly, the other thing I heard from her was, I don't have the money. I'm working 24/7 or 60 hours a week, and I'm doing well, but I'm just getting by. How on earth could I afford to hire any help? So we started working together again, week 1 and 2 of her course, of the coursework. And as we teased apart mindset issues, it became very obvious to me that what was really holding her back was a lack of confidence. She didn't feel like she could be charging more so that she could be actually doing less work and starting to run a business like a CEO. So we spent time teasing apart that mindset stuff that was keeping her stuck. We addressed what she thought her money issues were, and I guarantee for you they weren't about the money. And we worked through it. So just to finish the story quickly, I challenged her to double her prices, which of course she kicked and screamed at. She said, I'm going to lose all my clients. I'm going to lose my business overnight. Of course she didn't. What happened was, she lost the clients that she should have lost, right? She lost the clients that were the most problematic. She lost the clients that were the least respectful of her time, the clients who paid the least amount of money. She lost those. She did, though, retain the people who were willing to pay her increase in price because they valued her and the work that she was doing. So at the end of the day, she was doing half the work for the same amount of money. That allowed her to start functioning as a CEO. And we started to build a new business model for her so that she wasn't in a service-based business going forward. She was going to start building out courses, doing masterminds, developing a team underneath her. But we had to get her through that, the mindset stuff that was keeping her from thinking like a CEO. And it took working with me and with a group of people, other women in the course, to help her work through this stuff. So the next step, which is kind of in parallel with the other one, is just like Amanda, you will stay stuck in the trap of being the worker bee. You have to let go of the need to do it all. And to free yourself from this trap, you must start delegating some things to a few carefully chosen people. This doesn't mean that you're going to go out and hire a team of 30, right? What this means is, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth with the slides. Let me get back to scrolling through this. Let me go back. Okay. Just like Amanda, you'll stay stuck in the trap of being the worker bee if you can't get beyond this. You have to let go of the need to do it all by yourself. To free yourself from this trap, you must start delegating to some things to a few carefully chosen people. It might be that you have someone in for 5 hours a week. It might be that you find someone to help you for 10 hours a month. But little by little, you start finding things that you can have someone else do for you so that you're freeing up time. And suddenly you realize that you have extra time with which to start being more strategic in your business. Again, this is hard to imagine, Miss Solopreneur, unless you've done it. And every single student that has gone through this process, once we get to module 2 or 3, where I start challenging them to do this and we start mapping out how they can start delegating to someone else, they all come back to me and say, oh my God, this has freed up my brain to such a degree, I can't believe it. So you may not believe it until it happens. But it does happen if we're going to work together through this. So the mindset issues that come up around delegating are, I can't afford it, right? I can't afford to hire anybody. I can do it myself. I can't trust anyone else. No one else will do it as well as I can. All of those are mindset issues that you've got to grapple with and get beyond if you're going to be able to build a team and start really acting like a CEO and preparing your business for growth. This is the major difference between a solopreneur and a CEO right here. This is the nugget. Being able and willing to delegate and build a team. And again, this might sound scary. This might be the very thing that's keeping you stuck. You might be sitting on that thought of, I can't afford it. Those are all barriers that can be overcome, not walls. So you might have a fear of money. Fear of spending money can keep you stuck. This is usually a lack of confidence, as I said before. You can start small to get your feet wet. And as I said, bring someone in for 5 or 10 hours a week or a month, and it's hard to imagine until you experience it. All right, the next step, the 5th step, is planning for the future. Every time that you repeat an action or an email or a proposal or a process, it's keeping you on the hamster wheel. Remember, the word there is repeat. So if you find that you are spending time in repetitive administrative tasks, this is keeping you solidly on that hamster wheel. So this process is about building systems and templates and training for someone else to take over the doing of what you do. And let me tell you, this is not sexy. It's not sexy. I mean, this is very task oriented. It's very administrative. You might think, oh my God, I don't want to be doing this. But let me tell you something. You're going to be doing this stuff anyway, right? You're going to set up your newsletter to go out once a week or once every 2 weeks. You do that anyway. Why not document the what of what you're doing so someone else can do it when you're ready to have someone else do it for you? You need to start planning as if you're bringing someone in to do that from the get-go so that you can. And you will find that you will be ready to do that before you even think you are. Man, I talked about jumping in before you think you're ready. Always be planning for the future with an eye to the future. You want to plan to have someone else do this stuff. You create checklists, templates, or video tutorials to teach someone else how to do what you're doing. So start to develop systems. Again, systems is not a sexy word that can be followed by anyone, not the CEO. So start planning for your future company right now by creating systems for your future contractors or employees. So what is keeping you on this hamster wheel, right? You probably wouldn't be on this webinar or this masterclass if you weren't stuck on this hamster wheel. So here's what it looked like for me. See if this resonates for you. I didn't have a process. That was me. I really didn't know where to start. If I knew what to do, I would have done it. I didn't have any hands to hold, right? You don't have any hands to hold. Don't do this alone, right? If you do this stuff alone, you're stuck with the only information that's between your two ears. You need outside information. You need feedback from other people. You need fresh ideas. Don't do this alone. It's a very isolating, lonely thing to do. You didn't have any guidance, and that's where I come in, right? One of the biggest benefits of working with me is I've been through this before a number of times and with many, many clients. So I can give you some foresight into where you can do a better job and a quicker job going through this process. You think you don't have any time, no money. So you'll find that when we get to talking about the course, this is not expensive. There's an installment plan to make it doable. So don't let your thoughts about money get in the way. The secret sauce here, though, is community. Don't do this alone. So, and in that, give this one more thought. The best athletes, politicians, business people, and coaches in the world have mentors. Why would you do this alone? If you're ready to make a transformation from solopreneur to true CEO and be ready to grow your business, working alone is going to keep you pretty stuck. So great coaches bring new ideas. A coach and a community will keep you accountable. Having a process will assure you that you reach your goals. I don't know how long I floundered before I had a process to walk through. Great coaches keep you out of overwhelm. This is what I hear from an awful lot of the women I start working with, is that they're just completely overwhelmed. And we walk through step by step how to get out of that overwhelm. Great coaches, a great program will save you time and money. I struggled for 18 months on my own while business was quote unquote booming and I was drowning. So I decided to stop playing small and took steps to get me out of that hole I dug for myself, to hire a coach to help me get out of it. So again, let me recap the 5 steps. Mindset shifts have to happen. Who's in charge? You are the calendar. You need to take charge. 3 is think like a CEO, not a worker bee. 4 is let go of the need to do it all. And 5 is plan for the future of your thriving business. Plan for the future. Don't just hope it's going to happen. So let's make this happen. You have 2 choices. You can stay stuck and scared and don't take action and play it safe. You can stay where you are right now. That is an option. Or you can take action, invest in yourself, as I did with that business coach, and go all in. You have to decide that you are going to go through this transition from CEO, a solopreneur, to CEO. You have to make a decision and invest in yourself. So let's make it happen together. These 5 steps work. Just see how many of my clients I've had success with. And if you're someone who really can help people and deliver good value to the market, you might be wondering how you can implement all these tactics yourself. And obviously these 5 steps work. I've just given you a lot of testimonials, a lot of examples of how they've worked, how they've really changed businesses. Just see how many of my clients have had success with it. So, free gift. I'm going to make you wait a little longer. I do have some downloads for you at the end, but that's not the major gift I want to get to right now. Right now, I want to invite you to join me at the Solo to CEO course. If I can be helpful, if I can help you transition from the solopreneur with your hair on fire to building towards becoming the true CEO, I'd like to invite you to join me. You get it. You have to get it. What's been working for you up until now won't get you through the next stage of growth. You have to make changes. You have to be willing to make changes. So let me just walk you through the course so you know what it entails. Module 1 is mindset, fears, and visions. So this is, again, this is so important. So we go into a lot of depth about the kinds of mindset issues that are probably keeping you stuck. There are resources, worksheets, exercises that I ask you to go through and share that are going to acknowledge and evaluate and start to tease apart what your mindset issues are. It's going to be different for everybody. But, you know, there are 7, 8, 9, 10 that frequently come up. You're going to identify for yourself where your own mindset issues are keeping you stuck. So that's in module 1. As I say, I start there with everything that I do because you've got to lay that groundwork. So that's module 1 is mindset, fears, and visions. Whoops, sorry. So module 2 is time management like a boss, right? Who's in charge of your calendar, you or the calendar? Being in control of your time is the best way to assure that you will reach your goals and have work-life balance. So this is, in this module, this is where I really present the techniques you can start using to get a hold of your time. Time blocking, how to manage your to-do lists, creating a format for the whatever you want your business to look like. There are all kinds of techniques that I give to you that are going to help you create a business and a calendar that works for you. We talk about how to deal with the to-do list. We talk about how to deal with emergencies. We talk about all kinds of stuff that will allow you to take control of your calendar, be more in control of your time and your mental outlook, and put you in charge, which is what I say in the title, time management like a boss. You will be the boss once you get this under control. So that's module 2. Module 3 is thinking like a CEO. This is the nitty-gritty about what a CEO does and how you can start moving towards that. So we talk about how to use your time strategically with quote unquote CEO time on your calendar, how to work on your business, not in your business. I give you worksheets on the kinds of details that you want to be focusing on, and not someone else, what someone else can be working on that you are not doing. The secrets of building the right team by starting small, what to measure to assure results and growth. Again, this is the stuff that only a CEO can be doing. So this is where I start educating you about what a CEO is doing so that you aren't wondering what you're going to be doing when you're not doing all the stuff, right? You have a whole full-time job ahead of you as a CEO. So that's module 4. Module 4, building your team without breaking the bank. So the skill set you've mastered to start your business, whether you're a chiropractor or a nurse practitioner or a coach or you own a retail store, what got you started is not the same skill set that's required to manage people and think strategically like a true CEO. Different set of skills. And so if you want to start to grow, you need to develop new skills. Probably the most important one is how to develop a team. So in module 4, we understand the 4 stages of team building, identifying how you know when it's the right time to start building your team, learning to identify exactly what your team members will be doing to allow you to be the CEO, learning how to build a team without spending a ton of money. And we talk about where to start, how small to start, where to find these people. We start the process so that you can grow from there. So these are new skills we'll be developing together. Module 5 is that unsexy one that I talked about before, which is creating systems, tools, and templates to create your own freedom. So without systems, you don't own a business, you are the business. So this is where we start to dig in and decide that we look at the 5 steps to help create systems that ensure freedom, right? Again, this is another process of building systems and templates. We identify repeated activities so you can turn them into templates and systems for someone else to do. We talk about batching activities and automating others. We talk about using frequently asked questions to help you understand how to start automating things so that you don't have to be in that hair on fire mode all the time. So this is where I help you identify within your own business where you can create systems that you can then turn over to someone else. So again, not sexy, very important. You're starting to build for the future. So that's module 5. The bonus, and maybe my favorite, is money. This is time to escape the money scarcity trap. This is a bonus. Most entrepreneurs have money issues. They feel they don't have enough. There's a scarcity around money. They're never going to get enough clients to get them out of this trap. They're never going to have enough money to build a team. They see present expenditures as a expense rather than a value add for the business. We walk through all that. We talk about the 7 money blocks that are keeping you from growing and how to eliminate them. We talk about how to start charging what you're worth. Ladies, I could do a whole program on how to start charging what you're worth. This is so convoluted with issues around self-confidence and how we've been taught to behave as women. And I mean, it's deep. So we talk about how to start charging what you're worth, and we start to lay out the process to increase your prices if that's what needs to happen for you. How to get comfortable with sales. That's the flip side of this. Most women entrepreneurs will say to me, I love what I do. I love it. I hate selling. Well, guess what? If you're not selling, you're not making any money. And getting comfortable with sales is part of the process. So we talk about how to get comfortable with sales. Again, this could be a whole nother course, but I'm going to give you an overview about how to turn sales from a yucky, spammy thing that you hate to just the process of issuing an invitation. And I'll go into that more in the course, but I love sales and I love helping someone get to a solution, which is really what sales is all about. Last thing is if you really feel that you need more money, this is all about money, Elise, don't tell me anything else. There are sources of money and it's out there and I will tell you how to find it and where to go get it. So the course itself is comprised, every module, there, as I said, 5 modules and a bonus. Every module has worksheets, exercises, templates, and resources to help you internalize the process and make it happen in your own business, step by step. These are the handholds that you need to get out of this. You won't get as far if you don't do the work. So this is why I force you to go through these exercises to make sure that you are going through the self-reflective exercises that you need to start doing the work to get yourself into CEO mode. So every module has these. But the community is the most important aspect of this course. This is where the magic happens. So there are 2 things. One is we have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for the students of this course. They are right in there with you. They're sharing their journey. You're sharing the journey with other solopreneurs. This will be invaluable. Private group is only for students, so feel free to be vulnerable, to talk about what you're screwing up, how you have a lack of confidence. I mean, this is where you can air it all and get feedback from others and really grow together. This is magic sauce. I'm in the group daily, so I'm in there providing information and coaching and nudging and helping you get along. It's a very interactive group. We've had it going for 3 or 4 months now, and it's a very engaged group. So, but the real secret sauce, it's the weekly office hours. We have a weekly call for all of us to discuss questions, ideas, resources, sharing with each other. I can do one-on-one coaching with you in front of everybody else. We talk about goals and which goals you're going to achieve by next week. This is accountability. This is sharing. This is masterminding. This is the secret sauce where you really get to do this in the presence of other solopreneurs, other women solopreneurs who are going through the exact same process and help each other grow into the CEOs that you know you want to be. This is where the magic happens. So bonuses. You have lifetime access to the class. I'm always adding stuff to this class. I mean, as I learn more about what my students want, I'm throwing more assets into the class. So you have lifetime access to the class. You get that bonus module on money, which I think is the most powerful thing in there. I'll do a video tutorial on how to use Asana, which is a project management tool that will start to help you manage yourself like a CEO and your team as you start to build a team. So that is going to help you. Oops. There's also a 100% money back guarantee. So for the first 14 days that you're in the course, if you are not happy, just let me know. And I will be happy to refund your money. I don't care why you're not happy. If at the end of 14 days, you've given it a good shot and you don't feel it has value for you, just let me know and I'll return your money. So there's no risk here. If you jump in, there's no risk. So here we are. You're going to do this fast or slow. The obvious question is how you can apply what we discussed today to create your own transition, your personal transformation from solopreneur to CEO. You can do this by yourself. You can do it over time, probably slowly by trial and error and lots of detours, and maybe you'll get there walking through this map creation by yourself, which is fine. But this may be slow if it happens at all. Again, if it happens at all, or maybe it won't happen. I did an awful lot of thinking about what the future might hold without actually planning it, right? In that end of that 18 months, I really was all about making this happen, right? Really getting a hold of my business. I did a lot of thinking and a lot of planning and a lot of false starts. And I never got anywhere because I didn't have accountability. I didn't have guidance. I didn't have the steps. I did the thinking alone too. I didn't get feedback from either a coach or a mastermind group or a group of other entrepreneurs. without an actionable plan or without sharing that plan with the tribe I could count on, I was set up for failure before I began. So you can do this on your own, right? I've given you enough information in the course of this webinar that you could walk away tomorrow and apply all of these steps and start making it happen for yourself. I find that if left to my own devices, stuff falls through the cracks, right? I will have every best intention in the world. Unless I have someone else to hold hands with, it's not going to happen. Or if it does happen, it's really slow. So the fast way is to jump into a 6-week course. So here we go. I'd like to invite you to take a look at the landing page, which gives you a whole lot more detail than the course, what I just walked you through. I'll put the link in the chat area. It should be coming up now, so that you can hop over now and take a look at it. Once you've signed up, this is what you'll see. You'll either pay with PayPal or Stripe, and you will have access to the course as soon as you pay. So Elise, how much does this course? Okay, great. Here we go. So there are 3 tiers to this course, and I've done this so that you could find a tier that works for you, because I really want to help you through this process. The first tier is the Solo to CEO class plus the community. So that's 6 video modules, worksheets, resources, templates, all that stuff. They're going to help you walk through the process. Those weekly office hours that are group coaching, that private Facebook group so you can interact with your community, your tribe. The typical price for this course is $997. That's what I listed at on my website. For those of you who have been in the webinar with me, I reduce it to $750, but you have to make a decision in 48 hours. That price will only hold for 48 hours. So you can think about it and pay $97, or you can do a fast action and get $750 and get started right away. There also is an installment plan if this is easier for you. So monthly installments are $175 for 5 months, and you can get started. If you want to have if you pay in full, you get a 10% discount if you do the math. But it's $175 a month to get started for 5 months. I just don't want money to be a reason for you not to want to take this course. So the next level is Solo to CEO course plus community plus private coaching. If you want more time with me, more one-on-one time with me, I'm happy to give it to you. So this would be everything that you got in the first tier, the course itself plus the community, plus 4 hours of private coaching within that six-week time with me. The price for that is $1997 or $365 per month for 6 months. The last thing, if you just have to do it yourself, if you're a DIY kind of gal, just the course itself, right? Just the modules, the video modules and the downloads, that's $497. If you want to do it yourself, have at it. And you can sign up for just that, or 3 monthly installments of $180. I invite you to do that. It's a good way to get started. I'll invite you later to upgrade to join the community, because that really is the secret sauce. This is what is going to make the difference. But if you want to get going, here's your way to do it for $180 a month for 3 months. So let's get started. Getting started is only $175 a month for 5 months. You save money with a single payment. That special pricing disappears in 48 hours. So if I can get you to think about it, if you need to, for a few days, or sign up now. I mean, I just gave you the link. You've got 48 hours to think about it. I'd love to help you get started in this process. So fast action bonus is the webinar only pricing. Also, the first 5 to sign up will get a 30-minute individual coaching call with me, which is a $250 value. You and I will work one-on-one to find out specifically where you are, what your mindset issues are, how you're going to hit the ground running, and make sure that you're going to get the most out of this course. These 2 things are only available for 48 hours after you viewed this masterclass. So, as I said, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. I'll respond to them as soon as I get an email that tells me that there's a question in the chat section. Go to the landing page, take a look at the site. I can't encourage you more to sign up. You will, the amount of money that you're going to spend on the course, you will make back in the first opportunity you have to go get a new client. I mean, if you're stuck not being able to get more business, this is the best way to get more business, is to plan for your success in your future. So that's it for me. Any questions, please put them in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.